I'm Kaylee, and today we're going to go through the first section of the Your Best Reading Life workbook. So I designed this workbook to help you set your reading goals for your very best reading life. It's available for free at my website at booksformks.com. It's a PDF file that you can download for free, and you can print that out and follow along in the workbook along with us in these videos. So the very first section, and I think it's a crucial beginning point, is the story section of the workbook. This section asks the question, what stories or statements do you tell yourself about your reading and about the kind of reader that you are? Maybe you tell yourself the story, oh, I'm not a fast reader. I can't read fast. Or maybe you say, oh, I don't read that genre. That's outside my comfort zone. Maybe you think, I just can't read big books. Maybe you think to yourself, well, I'm not bookish, I'm not scholarly, and so I just don't read that much. Maybe you have been diagnosed with a reading disorder like dyslexia, and so you think, well, that's it. I have dyslexia, so I just can't read. Or maybe you're comparing yourself to other people and you're thinking, oh, I just can't read as much as other people do. Or maybe you're thinking, I just don't have time to read. I do not have time. I'm a busy person. Or maybe you've set such high goals for yourself that you think, if I don't reach those reading goals, if I don't read this certain amount or this certain type of books, then I'm just a failure. So there is a place in the workbook where you can write down for yourself, what is the story that you tell yourself about your reading? And you can write down how this has impacted your reading life. How is the story that you're telling yourself, how is this kind of reading identity that you've accepted for yourself hindering you in your reading? So we're going to take a little pause in the video right now so you can stop and think about that and maybe write down some of your answers. You to ask yourself one very crucial question. Is that reading story that you've told yourself, is that true? Is that even true? Or maybe was that story or that reading identity true at one time, but it's no longer true now? Another crucial thing to ask yourself is, who first told me that story about myself? Was it a parent or a teacher? Or someone else, some fellow reader, or maybe a sibling, or I don't know, someone told you, oh, you're dyslexic, so you can't read. Or someone told you, oh, you don't read Dickens, so you're just not a good reader. Or I don't know, people are ridiculous. People criticize each other for the dumbest reasons. Is there somebody that told you some story about reading and somehow you believed them, or somehow you internalized that and it became your reading identity? So ask yourself, am I taking on the judgments and the expectations of other people? And then let that go. And ask yourself, what can I do to change my story? What can I do to change my reading identity to one that is more closely attuned to who I really am? And there's a place in the journal where you can write down your answers to those questions and write down a way that you can change your reading story. So we're going to pause again for another little minute so you can write down some of your answers. Story upside down. We're going to take those reading weaknesses and we're going to turn those into reading strengths. So this might look something like, you could say, I may have dyslexia, but I still enjoy reading. Or you might tell yourself, I don't have to read a certain number of books to be a strong reader. Or you might say to yourself, I enjoy reading slowly so that I can savor every page. Or maybe you've changed your reading story over time and you could say, I didn't used to enjoy reading, but now I make reading a priority in my life. Another thing you could say to yourself, which is one of my favorites, is my reading time is valuable and beneficial no matter what I read. So we're gonna pause the video again so that you can write in a statement about your reading that places your reading identity in a positive light. So hopefully this section of the workbook has made you examine your reading story and your reading identity and where that comes from, and helped you to turn some reading weaknesses into strengths. And now you have kind of an identity statement that says, this is the kind of reader that I am, and that is good. I hope that you've enjoyed this section. Please do go over to booksformks.com and get the rest of the workbook. You can work ahead, of course, if you want to, or you can go ahead to the next video for the next section of the workbook. Please leave me a comment down below, and you have to let me know, what is your reading identity statement? I would love to hear what you guys have been able to come up with for this section of the workbook. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.